Welcome everybody. My name is John Furler. I'm a GP Research Fellow here in the Department of General Practice. So welcome today to the seminar that we've got planned as a satellite event for the IDF World Congress. So welcome to you all, people from coming from international destinations and from around Australia. So thank you very much for being here. Just a brief bit of housekeeping before we get started, I should say. Can I remind you to please sign, if you would, the authority for us to video and photograph the event, because we're really keen to do that, and keep a record of the proceedings today and the presentations. We'll bring some consent forms up at afternoon tea, if you haven't done that. Also, please, the evaluation form, of course, we do want to hear how you found today's proceedings. So there are, just to remind you, there are toilets, bathrooms on this level, in that direction, and of course downstairs. And afternoon tea will be served on this level, so there's no need to go up and down again. So, that having been done, I would like to welcome Professor James Best, Head of the Melbourne Medical School, to open our first session.
Thanks very much, John. I'm also an endocrinologist, and so today's meeting's of particular interest to me. And it's a great pleasure to welcome all of you here to Melbourne, because I know we have a number of interstate and international visitors. And particular welcome to our two international speakers. To welcome you to Melbourne and to the University of Melbourne. I thought I might just digress by telling you that the symbol up there is actually, it's called the University Angel, but it's actually not an angel, it's the goddess Athena Nike, the goddess of victory. So the University of Melbourne is 160 years old this year, and it's interesting that 160 years ago the founders of the university drew on classical Greek, well, it's not surprising they drew on classical Greek culture to set the standards and the symbol for the University of Melbourne. Now, type 2 diabetes, of course, has reached epidemic proportions. That was helped along the way by changing the definition, of course. If you lower the blood glucose level, you create an epidemic overnight. But apart from that, there's no doubt that in this country and many others, the prevalence of obesity and the prevalence of type 2 diabetes is dramatically increasing. Apart from that, as we know, type 2 diabetes is a very complex disease. It has many different complications, and I've seen in my time as an endocrinologist increasing emphasis on the macrovascular complications of type 2 diabetes, and now the psychosocial issues around type 2 diabetes, the increased prevalence of depression, for example. We know that the treatment of type 2 diabetes now involves quite sophisticated medications, a range of medications with complex modes of action, and again the other associations coming from type 2 diabetes itself, but also related to obesity, such as increased amounts of osteoarthritis and increased prevalence of bowel cancer, etc., make it a very complex disease to manage. And of course there are the behavioural measures that are required for successful treatment of type 2 diabetes. So I think if you put these two factors together, the increasing prevalence and the increasing and the great complexity of type 2 diabetes and its treatments, it means that we need to, it's a disease that needs to be managed in the community, and in particular general practitioners need to play an increasing role in the management of type 2 diabetes, working as part of a team, because the team approach, of course, is essential in managing such a complex chronic illness. So that's, I think, the basis of today's seminar is to discuss what's the optimal model of care for the management and the prevention of type 2 diabetes using a community-based care model. And I think we're all delighted to see so many here today to discuss this important issue, and we're particularly pleased to have two outstanding international visitors in this field. I'm going to first introduce Professor Kamlesh Kunti, and Kamlesh is Professor of Primary Care, Diabetes and Vascular Medicine at the University of Leicester in the UK, and there are, you all have the brochure that lists all of his impressive achievements. I just wanted to pick out three. The first is Clinical Advisor for the Diabetes NICE, which is the National Institute for Health and Care Excellence, led QOF, Quality Outcomes Framework Panel. Second is his role as Secretary of the Primary Care Study Group of the European Association for the Study of Diabetes. And the third is as co-director of the BMJ Diabetes Diploma, which I only was recently aware of this. So these three roles indicate Kamlesh's roles in the clinical side, on the research side, and on the education side. So please welcome Professor Kamlesh Kunti, who will talk to us about shifting diabetes management into primary care, the UK experience.
Thank you very much for those kind words.